Hello everyone and welcome to another Starbase video. This video is an introduction to the world of Yolol. Yolol is Starbase's very own programming language, which is at the core of what enables Starbase's creativity. Yolol is what is used to control and manage the vast variety of Starbase's different devices, such as doors, lamps, elevators, rail movers, tractor beams, even spaceships and factories, and anything else you can imagine. So, wanna know how to make your ship fly on autopilot? Or program your battleship to have a controlled aiming system? Have robot arms do your bolting for you? Or maybe build your own manufacturing line for ship parts? Well, after watching this video, you'll know how to get started with all that and more, as they are all achieved with the use of Yolol. Yolol code is written and executed on Yolol chips, which are movable containers for Yolol scripts. In order for your Yolol script to work, the chip needs to be placed in a chip socket, which is used to connect it to the device you wish to control, as well as a power source. A chip that is connected to a device has access to all the devices in the same network. The chip has multiple lines that you can write your script on, and when you press play, it starts reading the lines in a loop from top to bottom, spending 0.2 seconds per line. The green flashing text indicates which line it's currently executing. As for how to get started with writing a Yolol script, here are the basics. First of all, you need your universal tool. The universal tool is a forearm mounted screen, and it can be used to view detailed information on data networks, devices, cable networks, Yolol chips, and more. It can also be used to write Yolol script by connecting it to a Yolol chip. Here we are going to use it to check and change the IDs and values of different devices. The IDs are properties that are used for controlling devices and connecting them to each other. You will need these IDs when you write your script. Here's an example of a normal buttons info. First, there's button state, which represents the current state of the button. In this case, it's 0 when the button is not pressed and 1 when the button is pressed. Then there are button on state value and button off state value, which control the two values of the button that change when it's pressed. For simple buttons that open doors and such, these are usually 1 and 0. Finally, there's button style, which controls the interaction style of the button. 0 stands for a hold down and release button, 1 for a basic click to toggle button, like this one, and 2 for a 4-stage switch, like a click pen. These names and values can be freely edited at any time, and some devices have more IDs that can be controlled than others. You won't have to worry about remembering what each ID means, as more detailed info on each device's specific IDs can be found in-game, as well as on Starbase's own wiki. Now here's a simple example of automation that can be done with Yolol. We'll use it to program this door to open and close on its own. First, we're going to open our universal tool to check the door's IDs. The important ID to note here is the open state ID. When the door is closed, the value is 0, and when it's open, the value is 1. Now we're going to open the Yolol chip and type the ID on the first line along with the colon prefix, which is needed before external variables such as IDs. Then we're going to type an equal sign and a 1. This assigns the value of 1 to the variable open state and makes the door open when this line is executed. Now we'll write the same thing on another line with the exception of changing the value to 0. This makes the door close when this line is executed. Since it takes 0.2 seconds for the chip to process each line, the lower we'll write this piece of script on, the longer it takes for the door to close again. And simple as that, the script will already work like this, but in order to make it more smooth, we can use the goto command, which will make the chip skip the extra lines that aren't needed. Now we'll just press the play button to commence the script, and as you can see, the door opens and closes every time it reaches the respective commands on the Yolol chip. Here are examples of some basic operators you can use. Greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, not equal to, and equal to. These operators return a 1 if the statement is true and a 0 if it's not. They are often used, for example, in if statements. An if statement checks if a condition is true and runs the script based on the result. Usually they look something like this. If something is true, then do something, else do something, end. In addition, you can use the not, and or keywords to set up more complicated conditions than simple variable value checks. There are different tiers of Yolol chips, and the available operators are limited by the type you have. The basic chips have a limited selection of functions, while more advanced ones can perform more complex operations, like trigonometry. Another thing that helps with more complex Yolol scripts are the modular device racks. They allow for mounting Yolol chips in a more compact manner, as they can store multiple chips inside them. This makes them very useful for multi-chip Yolol systems. In addition, a core part of any multi-chip system are the memory chips. They can store message IDs for data sharing between multiple Yolol chips and can be used as a physically transportable data storage medium. Now there's still more to learn, but these are the basics that will help you get started with Yolol when the time comes. As an extra treat, here are a few more examples of Yolol in use. It can be used for automated public transport, to make your own in-game games, or almost any kind of contraptions that you can imagine. These are only some of the things that our development team has thought of, but as you can see, the possibilities with Yolol are endless. If you're interested in a more detailed overview on Yolol, check Starbase's own wiki. And while you're at it, don't forget to visit our official Discord, where we are actively answering questions and sharing Starbase clips and images.